Without a word, the figure took my hand, and we began to walk. I soon realized we were no longer in my hospital room, nor in any place I could recognize. Before us stretched an absolute darkness, deeper and denser than the blackest night, a suffocating void that seemed to swallow everything. The silence lasted only a few moments. Then I began to hear unsettling sounds, distant moans, muffled cries, the dragging of chains over an invisible surface. Terror crept into me as we advanced. The darkness seemed to move, alive, breathing around us. I clung tightly to the guiding figure. A faint glow surrounded them, the only point of light in that abyss. With every step, the sounds intensified. Desperate cries, pleading, gasps of anguish. I could feel the suffering and despair in those voices, yet I still could not see their source. At one point, small lights began to appear in the darkness, like faint fireflies trembling in the void. I looked at the figure beside me and whispered, "What are these lights?" The response came calmly, yet laden with a pain I could not understand. "They are those who once belonged to me, but their light is dim, almost extinguished. They are souls who once believed, but who allowed their faith to fade." We continued to walk, and the deeper we went, the heavier and more tangible the darkness became, as if it possessed real weight. The cries of pain grew louder, more piercing, filled with an inconceivable suffering. Then, before us, something monstrous appeared. An immense body lay supine, its hands raised toward the sky. It was not a human body, yet it bore a vaguely human shape. Its fingers were so enormous they resembled cliffs, endless precipices, and on those precipices were thousands of people. Some teetered on the edge, others were being pushed forward, and still others were falling, swallowed by that burning void. They screamed, writhed, trying desperately to cling to something that wasn't there. Behind each of them stood beings as black as night, with claws embedded in their backs, relentlessly pushing them toward the abyss. My blood ran cold. I saw men, women, young and old, people of every race and background, all headed toward the same destination. Above the precipices, towering flames roared, vivid and burning with a fire unlike any earthly flame. When someone fell, the flames surged even higher, and the screams became unbearable. Then I realized we were walking on that void. I don't know how, but my feet moved among those precipices without falling, while around me I watched multitudes plummet into despair. It was as if I were suspended in the midst of hopelessness. I looked desperately at the figure beside me, seeking an explanation, yet deep inside I already knew the answer, and I did not want to hear it. We pressed on relentlessly, deeper and deeper into that endless darkness. I lost all sense of time and direction. Then, suddenly, everything changed. I turned and realized I was alone. A chill enveloped me, and a primitive, visceral fear overwhelmed me with a violence I had never known. The faint light that had accompanied me until vanished. Then, the sounds began. Behind me, a moan, an anguished sob, followed by a horrible noise, a gasp, distorted, inhuman breath. Something was moving in the darkness. First a shiver along the back of my neck, then a sudden tug. Someone or something was pulling my hair. I felt scratches on my shoulders, as if thin, sharp claws were digging mercilessly into my skin. I screamed and writhed, but the moved. The tighter those unseen presences gripped me. I bolted forward and began to run. I ran blindly without direction, not knowing where to go, but certain that if I stopped, I would be torn to pieces. "Jesus, where are you? Lord, help me, I cannot see you," I cried out desperately, but no answer came, only chilling laughter echoing around me, growing louder and louder. Before me, a narrow upward corridor opened, without visible walls, a tunnel of darkness that seemed to close in tighter with each step. Irregular flames blatantly illuminated the passage, and in those flickering lights I finally saw my pursuers. Demons. creatures with grotesque, contorted forms,